This episode of Ars Cryptotica is brought to you by Uptick Project, the NFT world in your hand. Uptick is a decentralized mobile app built on top of the Uptick protocol. Manage your NFT-based digital assets with a focus on entertainment, sports, and the creative industry. Whatever your need for NFTs, Uptick has you covered.
Man, just upload it. Just go from here, dude. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to Ars Cryptotica, episode 21. This week we've got some video action going on. We've also got my friend Johnny, aka the Spilt Ink, on the show to talk about his artist story and how he's gotten into the NFT world. Johnny, thank you for coming on. How are you doing?
John, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I've seen a lot of your episodes. They're absolutely fantastic, and it's an honor to be here, and I'm doing great. Thank you.
Sweet, sweet. So when we met, like, 15 years ago, I think the only sort of artist work that I saw you doing, other than possibly creating a face mask idea, was your DJ work. You gave me a CD called Dance with the Devil. What do I want to say? What have you done since then? Are you still pursuing the music side of the art space, or are you more into the visual stuff these days?
Oh man, that's a great question. I was DJing nonstop when I first came to Japan in 2002, and I met you, I think, in 2006. And at that time, I was pretty much DJing like maybe 3 times a week. And I did that for the longest time until technology took over. And once technology took over, I just couldn't rock the CDJs. I was more of a vinyl person. So unfortunately, my turntables have been collecting a lot of dust. But in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of artwork. I've always been involved in art, just like every other artist. They say, as soon as I could crawl, I could draw. And that's basically what I've been doing and stuff. I kept it mostly private and to myself until I think probably about the time when I stopped DJing. I started showcasing my artwork around town and stuff to galleries and stuff. And from there, it kind of took off a bit. And I guess you could say the rest is history.
Cool. So you mentioned the turntables there. It's kind of analog, right? What do you think about the whole NFT space? Are you enjoying the experience so far?
Okay, regarding like music, I love analog. I love records. I still buy records. I don't really buy that many like techno or drum and bass records, but I still go record shopping every so often. I just love it. It's a part of me. I'll never lose it. But but I did move into digital, which is like a completely different universe compared. Well, I don't know. It's the same universe, maybe a different world. But I've been a painter for years and years and years. I guess like maybe 3 decades at this point. And basically, I just started getting into NFTs, and I've not even just been getting into NFTs. I'm saturated with NFTs. I absolutely love NFTs. Thanks to you, by the way. And let's see, you probably want to know how I got into NFTs. And at first I thought NFTs were crazy, absolutely crazy. Why would somebody want to pay money for a digital image when everything is digital and you don't really have to pay for a digital image? And that's exactly what I thought at first, until I found like the value of them. And and how I got involved was basically about a year ago. One of my friends called me and he's like, Johnny, you got to get your artwork into NFTs. You got to get into cryptocurrency and all this other stuff. And I just thought it was a headache. So I said, I'll look into it. And then another friend contacted me and he's like, yo, you got to get into NFTs. And then a little later, you told me, you called me up. You're like, hey, your artwork's awesome. I would love to see it as NFTs. And I was like, I don't know, NFTs and cryptocurrency. And I just, I turned down like, I think 4 friends that were like just trying to egg me in to get into NFTs until about 3 weeks ago. I was showing work at the Tokyo International Art Fair, which is the biggest art fair. It's like one of the top 3 biggest art fairs in Japan, right? And this is a crazy story. So I go in there and I start setting up my artwork and stuff. I had like 5 paintings and I had this really nice booth. So I set them up and stuff and everything was perfect. And I was like, all right, cool. This looks great. This is gonna be a really great weekend. And this kid shows up and he puts like these big posters, like they look like just posters, rolled up posters. And he put them on his booth, right? And then he just walked away and that was it. And that was like the last time I saw that kid. And I looked over and I saw these posters and it just said like, what did it say? It said like Japanese to say like Kawaii Harajuku NFTs, right? And then it explained what NFTs were in Japanese, and then it had this big QR code, right? And I was like, oh my God, NFTs are here. And wow, okay, that's interesting. I didn't expect to see NFTs at this place because the International Art Fair in Japan, this here is like a huge high-end, highbrow kind of like an art fair, right? I mean, it's not for like amateurs, right? I mean, it's like really, really great. Like a lot of amazing people show up, a lot of fantastic artists show up. I mean, every time I go there, I learn so much and stuff, and I meet so many fantastic people. And this person that just showed up with his artwork, I didn't even get his name or anything. He didn't even have a name, I don't think, but he had that QR code. And so there I was, like within the first day, I'm like talking to people, you know, I'm selling artwork and stuff. I'm making connections and stuff. It's an art show, you know, you're just having a lot of fun and stuff. And I kept on seeing people go up to like this booth, and they're reading what an NFT is, and they're like pointing their phones at the QR code, and then they're there and they're buying NFTs. So this guy must have sold like maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 NFTs at this art fair. I couldn't believe it. Like there's like at one point in time, there's like a group of like 6 people there, all like trying to like, you know, go through on the, like, I guess like hit the QR code and start like looking at NFTs and buying them. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is an art fair, and this kid is selling more artwork than anybody else, you know? This is wild. And then I thought, oh my goodness, all my friends were absolutely correct. I should have been getting into NFTs a year ago. So anyway, after that, you know, I contacted you. I was like, hey, John, remember that conversation we had about that NFT thing? How do I get involved? And yeah, you dropped the knowledge, and here I am now.
Sweet. So how do you see yourself getting into it? I see those pictures behind you. You do those with the spray cans, right? And stencils?
Yeah. This is some older work, and yeah, this is some stuff that I made at nightclubs and stuff. That's actual paintings on canvas with spray paint, and these are stencils. That's a whole huge process of how I make these that I'm not going to get into. I don't want to bore your listeners. But
I guess what I want to ask is like, you know, usually NFTs are digital, so people are using Photoshop. It's all, you know, using a PC, but you're pretty hands-on with the paint. So going forward, do you see yourself using computers more to create that kind of image or that kind of artwork, or do you plan on doing it, you know, hands-on and then taking pictures with a phone or a camera? How do you see yourself selling your NFTs?
Well, right now, what I found, which is really popular, is just like completely 110% digital art, right? And I love that stuff. I think there's a lot of brilliant artists out there making a lot of incredible artwork and stuff, and I really respect it. But when the world zigs, I usually zag. So I'm going to stick with my actual paintings, what I'm making and stuff, which I know is like way more time consuming. But the thing is, I'm making those, and then I'm just taking photos of those and making them into NFTs.
Yeah.
So there's an actual hard copy somewhere that I have, and then there's an actual NFT of that painting.
That's
So
cool.
I actually have 2. But actually, kind of a cool thing that I'm thinking about doing is when somebody buys the NFT, like let's say I make a painting and somebody buys the NFT, just to increase the value of the NFT, I think I'm going to send them a video of me destroying the painting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the option of how I'm going to destroy it. I'm like, all right, do you want me to destroy it with a knife? Do you want me to set it on fire? Do you want me to spray paint over it with some other paint or something? So they could have more of a hands-on, like, I guess, like connection to the actual NFT and actual artwork and stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe, I guess, like option 4 would be like to send it to them or something.
That's a good idea, man. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about NFTs recently. I mean, NFTs are incredible. It's like this whole new world that just opened. I mean, it's been around for a little while, but it's just, for me, it just opened up. And it's so exciting. And there's just so many possibilities and ways you can take NFTs and stuff. And regarding artwork, there's like so much you could do with it and stuff. I mean, right now people are going one way with like the digital stuff, but I think, you know, with actual like, you know, paintings, there's like a whole world of like artwork and stuff that you can do and incorporate that into NFTs, and like a whole kind of like a community or a sub community that you can like develop, like artdestroyers.com or something, where like people like sell like NFTs at this website. And then when you buy the painting, they destroy it or something, or I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do. I'm really excited.
It's cool, man. Hey, so at that Tokyo art show you were at, what did it cost to get in there? Is it kind of expensive to hang up some art there? How does that work?
It's Tokyo, man. Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
this gallery, this art fair, basically, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for a wall, you have to pay for the lights and stuff. You got to pay for like chairs or whatever. But you know, I guess, you know, in the art world, to a degree, you do have to pay to play until you get like sponsored by a gallery, and then a gallery will send you there. And a lot of international galleries send their artists to the Tokyo International Art Fair. But I don't work for a gallery. I'm kind of solo, you know.
Mm, But with the
I'm a little
NFTs,
done. Huh?
you get a lot of exposure with the NFTs, right? It's pretty easy to find new customers, new curators of your art. It's pretty easy when you go the digital way. You know, I've talked to Henry before, and he was saying he did a show in Paris, and you know, it cost him like almost 20 grand to pack up the
Wow.
photo, you know, because he had all these paintings, and then he had to get them to France, and he had to pay whatever the gallery for whatever. And then there was some like fine print in the contract, like whatever doesn't sell, then you have to basically just give to the gallery for, you know, next to nothing. So he invested all this, you know, money and time to get over there, and I think he broke even, and you know, it helps spread the word. People find out who you are. But he just says that when you get into the NFTs, you know, you can put your stuff on Rarible, Refinable, Uptick, whatever. Just, you know, use Instagram, Twitter. It's just so much easier to get the word out when you're in the digital world.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, in today's world, like I can't imagine being an artist in the 1980s. I mean, doing things that way where basically, I mean, every artist is just dying to get into a gallery. Oh my God, that must have been so stressful. I mean, we probably lost like so many geniuses who just couldn't get their art into a gallery for them to get exposure. I mean, it's crazy. But now any artist and every artist can get any kind of exposure they want, just utilizing like SNS, you know, and NFTs. You know, I mean, I think NFTs is going to open I guess, an infinite amount of doors for them to get their art out, for people to enjoy and inspire people to like do new and wonderful things with their lives and stuff, you know?
Let's talk about Rarible. So that's the first platform you started selling NFTs on, right? What was that experience like? Was it confusing? Was it easy? Was it something you want to keep using?
Oh God, Rarible. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna say Rarible is a fantastic website, and I love Rarible. But for me, I'm like completely I wouldn't say computer illiterate or online illiterate. I know enough, and I know enough to get by. But when it came to like NFTs and it came to like cryptocurrency and wallets and stuff, I had no idea what I was doing. So I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and I did my due diligence, and I researched a lot of stuff. And yeah, pretty much like after spending about a day of that, I was confident enough to actually go onto Rarible and use their service and stuff, and use let's see, I use Rarible, and then I use what's my wallet? See, I'm still new to it. I'm like, MetaMax, right? So I was confident to like get all that together and stuff, and then just like start like promoting myself on Rarible and like getting my NFTs on there and stuff. And the thing is, just like once I started doing that, it was pretty easy. Like, I mean, I think the biggest problem that I had, that I think a lot of artists have, is the intimidation of doing it, and the intimidation of getting into cryptocurrency and stuff, you know, especially if you've been an artist for a long time. It is kind of intimidating to go into another medium, you know, like a lot of people that paint with acrylics, it's intimidating to go into like acrylics, and people that do acrylics is very intimidating to like even dabble with spray paint, you know? And so it's just like an intimidating kind of like scary kind of process to get involved in. But I'll tell you what, for all you listeners out there, once you get your feet wet, dude, whew, man, you're going to be swimming in the ocean. No time. It's not that difficult. If I can do it, you can do it. It's great. And I'm going to say Rarible is actually pretty easy. There's a lot of fantastic artists on Rarible. So many great artists. Like I spent a lot of time just going through Rarible, checking out different artists and different NFTs and stuff. And it gets you really excited to create better artwork and stuff. Like when you see a couple of NFTs that are like really deep and really interesting, you're just like, oh man, how do they do that? Or wow, that's kind of cool. These colors, they all go together really well and stuff. The color balance is like fantastic. I really want to buy this, but it's like 5 ETH. Not gonna buy it, not yet. It is kind of expensive. It is kind of expensive, but it's great. And yeah, I just love the whole process and everything. It's great.
Yeah, I've tried selling some stuff on Rarible, but you know, the gas fees can be kind of, I think now I can't remember what it's called, but you can like set it up so the person buying the art has to pay for the gas fees. But when I first got on there, I had to pay for the gas fees just to mint the stuff, and it was just like, you know, $30 a pop. And if you want to, you know, put 20 things on there, it's just like, geez, man, I hope someone buys this because I'm investing a lot just trying to mint the stuff. But yeah, I guess it's always changing, always improving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think right now the gas fees are really expensive, but I've been going to a Reddit, and on Reddit, there's like a lot of optimism that the gas fees are going to decrease within the next like 6 months or a year. So I think right now it's kind of like it's that hump you got to get over. So yeah, and I've got 3 pieces up there right now, and yeah, as soon as like the hump, as soon as the gas prices go down, I think I'm gonna like sell those, and then actually with the money and stuff, I'm just not even gonna like take the money. I'm just gonna reinvest it and get all those NFTs that I wanted to buy earlier.
That's
It's
good.
like, please don't sell out.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good way to network too. I think once you start buying other people's stuff, they find out about you. It's a good way to get your name out there.
Oh yeah.
Out there. I had something I was going to ask you about the NFTs, but it's gone blank. I'll have to cut this part out.
No, don't cut it down. It's all good.
I'm afraid
Anarchy radio, man.
It's going to take me 5 minutes to remember. Something about your work.
Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions about NFTs and stuff. So what is your opinion of like the best way to advertise yourself and your NFTs regarding SNS? Like, I mean, there's like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc.
That's what I was gonna ask you about. So you mentioned Reddit, right? And I'm all about, you know, SNS online. It's cool, but it just kills my time. You know, I've got like literally 5 to 7 Twitter accounts. I've got 3 YouTube accounts, and it just goes on and on. So I don't think Reddit's where it's at. I've dabbled in Reddit. I highly recommend Twitter. I think if you want to be into cryptos or NFT, I think Twitter is where it's at. And Henry often talks about this thing called Twitter Spaces. So have you tried? Are you aware of Twitter Spaces? No.
I've heard of Twitter Spaces, but as I said, I'm still a beginner to like this world, you know. Yeah. I'm learning to walk.
Okay.
I'm not running just yet.
So for the Twitter Spaces, it's kind of a new thing, and I don't know when it started. Let's say spring this year. And what you do is you get on there, you click a button, and you kind of invite people to come into your space, come into your like chat room, but chatting with your mouth, not with your fingers. And yeah, you can kind of select who speaks, who doesn't speak, and it's a really good way to network. You know, especially if you know you're known as an NFT artist. Other NFT artists want to say something or want to get their name out there too, and you kind of, you know, shoot the shit, interview each other, and it's really good. I think I've listened to a couple of Twitter Spaces, you know, because we're in Japan and most of the NFT guys I know are in the US. The timing doesn't work out that well, and I'm busy as hell, so doesn't work for me. But once in a while, I'm like, you know, walking to work or something, and I listen to the Twitter Space, and it's good. You learn a lot. You get to network. So I think Twitter's where it's at. Reddit, I don't know. Instagram, some people like Instagram. I'm not a big fan. I think Twitter is where it's at. I might be missing one, but yeah, I think Twitter. Do you use?
Wait, you're not doing TikTok? Come on.
Okay, TikTok.
I'm just joking about that. I don't think there's anybody doing NFT action on TikTok. Not at all. It's just like dancing high school girls. It's bad music.
Yeah, maybe there's an opportunity there. I don't know. I know a lot of people, you know, my son, he's 16 now, the older one. And yeah, he's all about the TikTok. Like, John, get on, you know, Dad, get on TikTok. And just like, no, man. But yeah, I'm sure you could probably get something going there too.
I should. I'm on TikTok, actually. I'm on everything. One thing regarding, like, was it Twitter Spaces? Twitter Spaces sounds an awful lot like Clubhouse. Yeah. So are you involved in Clubhouse at all?
Yeah, that just like came and went in a heartbeat, right? I guess everybody heard a lot about Clubhouse, and then I think their marketing was kind of cool. Like, you kind of had to be invited, you had to know someone to get on, kind of like when, you know, back in the day, Facebook, it was the same way. Yeah. And someone sent me an invite link, and it seemed kind of dodgy, like, is this real or whatever? Anyway, I finally got on, and yeah, there was a chance to be involved with like 1 or 2 interviews, episodes, and they never panned out. They ended up, you know, not doing it. And then, you know, the next couple weeks, it would just disappear. No one was talking about it. I don't know if it was because Twitter Spaces became real, or I don't know what the deal was, but right, like I can't remember when that was. What was that, like January or less than a year ago? It was huge. Everyone was talking, Clubhouse, and then yeah, just faded away.
I don't
So,
know,
yeah,
like,
it's same concept. You get on there, it's not recorded, but there is an option. Like Henry, Art4Anarchists, he does a few Twitter Spaces, and I haven't tried doing my own, but he sent me a link so he can record the interview. I think, how does that work? So yeah, he sends me a link. I end up converting it. I can't remember, it's been a while now, but using SoundCloud, I can make his Twitter Space available on his website. So yeah, I think with Clubhouse, you couldn't record it, but somehow you can record the Twitter Spaces. But it's more or less the same concept. It's like a live invite only sort of thing.
That's cool. That's really cool. And speaking of your co-host, Henry, his artwork's fantastic. I've seen some of his newer stuff and it's really amazing. I really dig it. So I was like looking at that. I was like a little intimidated. I was like, oh no, dude, I'm going to be on a show with Henry. Holy smokes. I better be quiet. Let the guy talk, man. I'm just going to be like a fly in the wall. Yeah, that guy's work is really amazing. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, glad to hear that. I'm sure there'll be a future episode where the three of us can get on and chat, but
I hope so. Yeah.
He's got a long, I mean, it sounds like you have a long history too, but yeah, right from, I guess it was high school, from based on, if my understanding is correct, he got into art mainly with the writing, but he's done photography and then all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some great stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do this again in the future. But let me see. I got another couple of questions for you and stuff. What do you think about these giveaways? Like on Reddit and on a couple other platforms, a lot of like people who are making NFTs are doing all these giveaway drops and stuff. And it seems like that right now is like the biggest rage, where like people are like giving their wallet IDs and stuff for them to like basically just like get like possible free NFTs or something.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, you got some good questions. I thought it was a great idea. Yeah, if we're totally honest here. So to promote the podcast, I thought it would be a good idea to give away one of Henry's NFTs on a monthly basis.
Cool.
And,
where do I sign up?
yeah. So we tried it, and yeah, it doesn't work as well as I thought it would. Some of his art sells for up to, I can't remember exactly, but nearly 1 ETH, right, for one of his NFTs. So that's a pretty big chunk of change. Yeah. So and we were I wanted to give away 3 a month, and the catch was you had to like be a supporter, be a fan of the podcast. So you had to subscribe, share on Twitter, like whoever's supporting Henry the most has a chance to win. It's not totally random. It's just whoever stands out as being the biggest fan. But I just couldn't get people to subscribe or to like get involved. There'd be 1 or 2, and then there would be occasionally there'd be someone who would stand out. Okay, let's give NFT to this guy. But then you can't like I didn't ask for their wallet addresses because sometimes that can be a bit intimidating. But I would try to find them either through YouTube or Twitter, or try to figure out who they are. But they don't respond. And you're just like, okay, this person is not interested. And then 3 weeks go by, and then they send you a message on like Instagram or something. Hey, I want that NFT that you said I want. It's like, oh, who are you? Like, why are you doing this 3 weeks from now? I've got stuff to do, I gave you the chance to get it. And then, and yeah.
I'm running a podcast, man.
Yeah. I've got a lot of stuff going on. And then, so then I got to talk to Henry, and Henry's got to like make it available on the NFT platform. It's uptick, and then it's not as effective and not as easy as I thought it would be. It wouldn't hurt, I think that's a good idea, but I tried that, and yeah, didn't work out the way I thought it would. And a lot of people do it, and I think it can kind of cheapen the art a little bit. Like some people who promote, or I guess they say shill their work too much. It does sometimes look desperate. It's like a balancing act, right? You don't want to be super shilling, look at me, look at me. On the other hand, if you don't say anything, no one's going to know who you are. So yeah, give it a try. But
There's
it
a
might.
shill balance.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
You got to find the shill balance, man. We got to come up with the term. You got to get your shill bow, man. Where's their shill bow? I don't know. 40% for me.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good idea. But yeah, let me know how it goes.
I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know. I feel giveaways. I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe, I don't know. Is it cheap to do that? Like, I mean, I'm a fine artist. I come from like a fine art background. I mean, I've shown my artwork in Germany, Paris, let's see, Amsterdam, Greece, America, San Francisco, Detroit. So Tokyo, obviously. So it's just like, I don't know, man, giving away like, I don't know. Then again, it's an NFT. Maybe I should. I don't know. I got to think about it. I don't know.
I think if you already have like the physical artwork, like in your case, and it's already there and it's not moving, and I think, yeah, you might consider giving away an NFT version of it. You could always, still sell or destroy or do whatever with the hard copy. But if you make it clear that this is a one of one NFT, that adds value to it. And if you don't create the NFT, it's nothing. So I think it's good for you to make some NFTs. But on that topic too, I think I saw your NFTs on Rarible, and I found that you did. I guess there's 3 at the moment, and they're like 10 of 10. And some new NFT artists, they don't know, the best way to go. Should I make 500 of these NFTs, of the same artwork and make it super cheap, like McDonald's style, or should I do a one of one, or should I do 10 of 10? People don't know what to do. I recommend going the one of one. I think that's the way to go.
One of one.
What would I say? I guess occasionally I do free. If you use the Uptick platform, there's an option to sell your stuff for free. You can limit like 200 and the price is free. And that totally gets people jumping on it, that they want to get that free stuff. I think that's a good way to go. That's a little different than the giveaway. And you could promote that on Twitter too. Like, hey guys, I've got like, limited edition. There's 200 of these NFTs. It's free. There's like no risk. Get on it. And then people start finding out about you collecting it. Then they might want to get into the resale market. Like they'll get it for free, and they'll try to flip it, sell it for $10 or something after it's all sold out. All the free ones are gone. Yeah, I think that might be a good way to get some people interested in your art.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. That's a really good way to go. I didn't know that you could do it for free like that, on Uptick. Yeah. There's a lot of great advantages in Uptick, man. Like, I mean, you introduced it to me and stuff. And I downloaded the app and I've been researching the app and stuff. And the app looks stellar, dude. There's like a lot of great things you can get out of this app and stuff, And I think the cryptocurrency of which they use is actually pretty good too. It's got a lot of potential. And the only reason why I actually went with Rarible is just because I did my due diligence, and after going through a couple of websites and stuff, a lot of people said that Rarible was like more for like artists. There's Rarible, and there's a couple other. There's like dominantly just for artists and stuff, from people who are like into like digital arts and fine arts and stuff. And so Rarible, I don't know. After like viewing the website, I was just kind of comfortable with it. It just kind of like rubbed me the right way. And I just went with my gut, and I just signed up and stuff, and here I am now. But
I think Rarible's good. I think it's good. I think a lot of people, they want to get on there. Some of the platforms are limited, like Super Rare or something. It's invite only.
Oh, God, Super Rare, yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. Anyone can get on Rarible, but I think you made some analogy like the OpenSea sort of thing, and that's another topic, OpenSea. But yeah, it's kind of hard to get discovered, I think, on Rarible. You follow people, they follow you back, you get a bunch of followers, but at the end of the day, you kind of try, you want to sell some art. And I have some stuff on there and it just doesn't sell, So I started off selling it at 1 ETH, didn't moved one of it down. Okay, 90% off. Now it's 0.1 ETH. People are like, yeah, cool, like it, nice, but it's not selling, So I don't think you can rely on the platform to sell your art. You still have to be on Twitter. You have to have your website. You have to, have a podcast, do whatever. You got to Facebook, Instagram, you got to get out there and push it. And then through those traditional, somewhat traditional ways of promoting yourself, have a link to your uptick, have a link to your rareable, refinable, whatever. And I think that's the way to go. Because I don't think you're going to get discovered on the major platforms alone. You gotta do your own networking separately.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And actually, I've always been 110% into my own marketing and stuff. I mean, all my art since I was like really young, it was all about just like pushing it and stuff, getting my name out there. And like, even when I was a DJ back in the day and stuff, when I met you, I mean, being a DJ, just getting your name out there and stuff is like the most important thing you can do, you know, because I mean, every business is saturated, you know, and I think right now the NFT world is kind of like, well, it depends on the platform. I think OpenSea is like overly saturated. I mean, it's like kind of like the eBay of like NFTs and stuff. There's like so many people signing up every single day and stuff to get their stuff on there. Rarible, yeah, there's a lot of people getting their stuff on there. But Rarible, one thing about Rarible that's kind of cool is it's got that I forget the name of it, but there's like kind of like to be like stamped, you know, to have like some kind of like God, I'm so new to this industry. So it's like
verified.
That's it, right?
Yeah,
so to get verified and stuff, they actually you got to go through a process, and some actual person, not like a bot or anything, an actual person has to go through all your credentials and like look at your website and stuff. And then they give you like the star. And then once you get the star, you're kind of like official, you're trustworthy, you know, you're not just some guy that's going up there being like, yo, what's up? I've got some like NFTs, buy them. And then, you know, the person's like, throws this stuff up there and then he disappears or something, you know. It's like more for like the hardcore real people, which and I think that aspect makes Rarible actually believable and more authentic, you know, and trustworthy, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of I think it's called copy minting. Like people will take, you know, some CryptoPunk or what is it, Bored Ape, and then they'll try to sell it. You know, they didn't create it, but they're just, you know, taking a screenshot, trying to sell it on some other platform. A lot of dodgy stuff going on, I think, on some of the platforms. So it's good. You want to, I think, buy from verified artists. And I think before you buy anything, you should be looking, you know, does this guy have a website? Does this guy, you know, is he on Twitter? Is he on Instagram? Where does he come from? Because there's a lot of, there are some scammers out there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like that with like any kind of a business, you know. I mean, if you think about like the art business, I mean, there's been a lot of people, there's so many documentaries about this, but there's been a lot of people who have just like copied art, right? And there's industries where people just like copy like art and stuff, and they sell art as you know, like whatchamacallit, Jackson Pollock's last painting or something, you know, and that's been in the art business for ages, since the beginning of time. And it's the same thing with music. There's always going to be like people that kind of like take advantage of the system and stuff. I mean, look at Milli Vanilli, you know?
Yeah. So where do you get your influences from, like that art behind you? You before we started recording, you mentioned Basquiat. Do you have some big influences or some people that inspired you to do what you did?
Oh God. All right. Gosh, I know this is so cliche, but I'm going to say yes. One of my biggest influences, somebody that's inspired me since I was a kid, is Andy Warhol. And I almost went to art school in Pittsburgh because of Andy Warhol. I went to like the Art Institute of Pittsburgh for a week just to check it out and stuff. And I went to the Andy Warhol Museum just because I was such like a mega fan. But I think Andy Warhol is always going to inspire me. I mean, just the person and his artwork, and just like his perspective of artwork, you know. And we could talk about Andy Warhol for ages. I've read tons of books and seen all the documentaries and stuff, but he's always gonna be like my backbone of inspiration. But I think like currently, I think a lot of like modern underground Japanese artists are very inspirational. There's a guy named Dragon76 that's absolutely fantastic. He's done a lot of stuff for Adidas. There's Stone63, who's very underground here in Tokyo, and he does a lot of abstract art. And before the COVID's hit, he did a lot of like the art battles. So it's like kind of like an underground art battlist, I guess you could say. And his artwork is just so phenomenal. He's like the master of balancing color, you know? And I think balancing color is like a very important part of like artwork. And when you look at art and stuff, there's like, depending on the art, but there's like certain areas where your eyes move, certain focal points, right? And Stone63, like this guy, I mean, he just has all the right colors in all the right places. So when you look at one of his paintings, your eye just flows throughout the painting, going from left, right, up and down. It's kind of like looking at a sky of stars, you know? It's really amazing. I think a lot of like underground Japanese artists right now are just killing it, you know? And a lot of them aren't really that famous right now, but in the future, I think a lot of them will be. I think there's a lot of potential for the art world to come back to Japan and stuff, you know? So I think these guys should be getting into NFTs.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Have you seen, you know, you mentioned that one guy at the Tokyo Art Fair, he was promoting his art with the QR codes, but do you think it's is it in the artist conversation, NFTs in Japan, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like okay, at the Tokyo International Art Fair this year, so this guy had his booth right next to mine, right? And this guy just put up his posters and just walked away, and he was gone for like the whole time. Like he never came back, never talked to anybody. He's like, that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it worked. But anyway, so I saw that and I was just like, whoa, that's kind of weird. And I didn't think too much about it until I started seeing people actually getting involved with it. Like, you know, actually doing the whole QR code and stuff, you know, even though there was nobody at the booth, it was an empty booth, but people were doing the QR code. And I was just like, holy smokes. So I started talking to all these other artists and stuff, you know, some of the like artists that had some phenomenal work. And I was like, what do you think about this, you know, NFT kind of thing? And everyone's like, oh, it's a gimmick. It's going to come, it's going to go. I don't think it's going to be a big deal and stuff. And I'm like, this guy over here that's not even here is probably selling more artwork than all of us put together.
Yeah.
It was wild, right? Oh my gosh. So yeah. I think maybe possibly in the future, there's going to be like art galleries, like art fairs, art shows, where there's going to be like no artists, you know, other artists going to show up and just put up posters and just go home, watch Netflix. Yeah. That's probably what they did.
Yeah, I've said it on the show before, like there should be some sort of like pop-up exhibition, I guess, where like someone just, you know, puts together 30, 40, 50 big screen TVs and like has NFTs showing up on the screens. I think that would be, I don't know if, I guess that's happened by now, but I think there's a lot of potential for that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear about it because I'm not an artist, and yeah, I sometimes talk, you know, this is my my smartphone case that I often show when I'm teaching English, and I say, hey, you know, when I'm teaching students in Japan, do you like Bitcoin? And they're like, no, it's very very risky, dangerous, blah blah blah. So to hear, you know, artists talking about NFTs, it's a good sign, because I think usually the people are pretty risk adverse and they have a bad image of blockchain. So it's good to hear. Nice.
Well, I think originally the whole idea of Bitcoin was for like people to do like kind of like gray area or dark business. But in today's world and stuff, I think Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies have kind of like came out of like the muck and stuff. And I think a lot of them now like are actually very respectable. I mean, Bitcoin right now, you can go to like some restaurants in Tokyo and pay with Bitcoin, you know? And I think like there's going to be a point in time where like you could go to a convenience store and actually use Bitcoin, Ethereum, and any other kind of like cryptocurrency to buy your milk or juice or beer or whatnot, you know? And I'm actually looking forward to that, because I mean, that could be like a beautiful world where there's like just like, you know, cryptocurrency just ruling everybody and making everybody together. Why ruling everybody? That doesn't really work. No, bringing everybody together. That's what I meant to say. They are new masters. I'm joking. No. I've had a little bit too much of whiskey tonight, but yeah. So I think it's a beautiful thing. And you know what? Another thing about cryptocurrency and NFTs is that I think, you know, it right now it's all about art, right? But I think it can bleed out to many other fabrics of society, right? Like I just read in an article like 2 days ago that Quentin Tarantino, the great Quentin Tarantino, who's made like 3 of my most favorite movies, like he's making like what is he making? He's making whatchamacallit? He's making not bonus scenes, but no, he's taking cutout scenes from his movies and he's making those into NFTs. So all these cutout scenes and bonus scenes from like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and all these other movies, Kill Bill and stuff, he's making those into NFTs, and only like maybe like 10 people in the world can get these bonus scenes that nobody's ever seen, right? And he's doing that. And then I read another article where some actual like small-time directors are considering making like before they even make the movie, they're going to make a storyboard, and then they're going to take the storyboard images, and then they're going to present that to like the world and say, hey, listen, I've got this storyboard right here. This is the whole movie. And if you want to buy these scenes right now as NFTs, we're going to shoot the whole movie, and then you can pre-buy these scenes, and your money is going to basically support our movie, and it's going to make us like give us all the fundage that we need to make this movie exist. So that's basically what's going to happen. So this is going to be like a new form to like make movies like, you know, to the public.
Yeah, it's good. So back to that Dance with the Devil album CD that you gave me. Where did that go? Did you monetize that? Did you make money from that? Because what I'm thinking, you know, like with Uptick, now you can mint MP4 files. You know, you could take that, something like that, take an album, take a song, and turn it into an NFT, and you could sell it for free. You could sell it for like, you know, $1 a piece and try to sell 1 million of them. You could sell it, you know, this is a one of one, and you know, it costs $10,000. You know, I'm just wondering, back in the day when you're trying to make money from music, what was that impossible, or do you see maybe getting back into that with the NFT world?
Okay, I'm going to say no and yes on that point. Okay, all right. I was a DJ, so I was basically just taking tracks and putting them to organizing them together, and then just kind of manipulating them to make like you know, like my CD. But I think for me to make any money off that would be impossible. In fact, highly illegal. But people that actually do make music, people that do make tracks and stuff, what they could do is they could do what you're saying. They could basically make a track and be like, okay, I just made this killer track. And, or actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they could do something like this. Like, let's say there's a DJ, right? Let's say DJ, let's call him, since I'm drinking whiskey tonight, we're going to call him DJ Whiskey, right? So DJ Whiskey, he makes a CD, right? And he releases his CD, right? And he's got like 5 tracks on there that everybody loves, and everybody's just playing all the time and stuff. It's like amazing, right? So, but he has one bonus track, and this bonus track he makes as an NFT, and he's like, hey, yo, listen, the CD, there's 5 tracks here, but there's a bonus track, and this track here is an NFT. If you want to get this NFT, only 100 people can get it, and it's this price here. And so basically he could do that. And I think that'd be a really cool way for like a DJ to promote like the CD itself and that bonus track. And the thing is, once somebody gets like a bonus track, that's really cool. But I don't know, that's pretty awesome actually, to have like a bonus track. It's like kind of like having a limited edition t-shirt, you know, like back in the day, limited edition t-shirts were like the big thing for bands, you know, like when a band went on tour to like Singapore or London or something like that, and they had that special design t-shirt. Getting that is absolutely fantastic. Actually, this is like a Misfits, one of my favorite bands, the Misfits limited edition t-shirts. Yeah, I love that stuff. So I think a lot of people could get involved in that stuff. And I think NFTs could like branch out to music and movies and even fashion, and even business. You know, I mean, there's a huge industry for like business books and stuff. And like, let's say an author makes like a business book and stuff, but he has like a bonus chapter, but he sells that chapter as an NFT or something. I don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to NFTs.
Totally. Yeah, with Uptick, you know, they've been working with a restaurant, some other companies, but I'll talk about the restaurant in Shanghai. It's a Mexican restaurant in Shanghai. And basically it's a membership card, you know, like you'd have like a business card, sort of, you know, physical membership card, but this one is NFT. And yeah, there's unlimited possibilities. You know, if you pay whatever for that card, you can get discounts, you get special items, you could get, you know, things that aren't on the menu, you can get into this special event. It's unlimited what NFTs can do.
No way. Are you serious? Like if you buy an NFT, you could go into this restaurant, show your NFT on your phone, and then you get like a special like menu. They're like, oh God, okay, you get the real good stuff. Do you want whale? Do you want dolphin? It was like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Do you want a monkey brain? You could get anything.
Yeah. And I mean, you could do that in the physical world by selling some cards, but I think by doing it through the NFTs, it just gives the business a lot more oversight as what's going on.
Edge.
Yeah, edge, and also just a lot more, you know, transparency. They can see what their customers want, who's buying it. There's a lot more information available to the restaurant owner, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, that is awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, that's so cool. It's like buying a VIP card, you know? that will let you do like special things, like going into restaurants, maybe like sporting events and stuff. Maybe if you go to Disneyland and if you have a special like Disney NFT, you can actually go ahead of line and stuff, you know. So let's say you go to Disneyland, right? And you want to ride
Yeah.
Space Mountain, but they got like a 2-3 hour wait and stuff, right? You're like, yes, I've got this NFT. They're like, oh, sir, please right this way. Come to the front.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be really cool, you know. I mean,
Totally.
the possibilities for NFTs right now is just limitless, you know. And this is like the ground floor right now. I mean, this podcast right here, actually, your podcast is absolutely fantastic. I've learned so much information. You've had so many great guests on your podcast, and I think your podcast has so much opportunity to grow, because I mean, the more NFTs grow, the more your podcast can grow. And I'm really excited to be on your podcast. I'm really excited to see it grow, you know.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, let's talk about your podcast. So you've got a podcast too. You've been doing it longer than me. What have you learned about podcasting over the years? What works? What
Oh
doesn't work?
God.
You don't like coffee?
Oh, you want to talk about my podcast? Oh,
Why
I guess
not?
your show's going to get really interesting now. Yes, I am the creator and the host of the Got Faded Japan podcast. It's the first English-speaking comedy podcast here in Japan. I started in 2009 with my co-host. And since then, I've gone through, I think, maybe 12 different co-hosts. I've got a new co-host now, Jeremy, who's a fantastic person. And basically, the theme of our podcast is two dudes, booze, Japan, and the news. So basically, me and my co-host, we drink, we talk about current events. When we talk about current events, it's like current events, but we actually specialize in Japanese subculture and the Japanese underground, being an underground, say, music events, underground fashion events, underground anything. Use your imagination. We're completely into it, and we've been involved in that stuff for many, many years. At this point, I think I'm an expert in underground Japanese culture. And yeah, basically we just talk about that. And then, after about like 30 minutes of that kind of stuff, we talk about like the weekly bizarre news. And throughout the whole show, we're just drinking, we're having fun. Just, it's basically like drinking with your friends, talking about current events and talking about things in the news with your buddies, and yeah, we've got quite a few downloads at this point. And it's pretty amazing. We've had a lot of interesting guests on the show, a lot of famous people on the show. We've had Tom Green's been on the show. Clint Eastwood's kid, Kyle, he's been on the show. Kyle Eastwood, an amazing, amazing bassist. He does a lot of scores for movies and stuff. We had Bob Sapp on the show. We had Fat Mike from NoFX on the show. It's been a really, really great time and stuff. I've met like a lot of my heroes, and I've had drinks with pretty much more people that I can even remember.
Do you think you could turn that into NFTs in the future? Like, I don't know how many views or downloads you get, but you sell it for, let's say, $1 a pop, and then you make, there's 500 versions of it. And then you could also profit, there's the resale market. So every time that someone sells the video NFT to someone else, or any sort of NFT to somebody else, then the original artist gets a 10% kickback, right? Like, do you think you could take it there someday?
We do video, and actually right now, actually Got Faded Japan takes a lot of my time, because we do the podcast, and after the podcast, we gotta like edit the video, the audio and stuff. We don't really edit it. We just do like, we don't take anything out. We just edit the sound quality just to make sure that, it's audible and people can understand it and stuff. Because we do it with a Zoom, just like most podcasts these days. And sometimes the quality isn't that good. So we got to change that around and stuff. But yeah, there is possibilities to making that stuff into NFTs at this point. But we've gone through like maybe, I think like 15 different logos. And our logos are like kind of like based on like Garbage Pail Kid logos and stuff, Garbage Pail Kid cards. So I think if we were going to make anything regarding Got Faded Japan into NFTs, it'd probably just be like the show logos. And we've had a very talented artist, not myself, but Adam 3, who made the actual logos and stuff, because he specializes in Garbage Pail Kids and Marvel Comics art and stuff. So he was definitely the guy to go to do our logos. Shout out to Adam 3, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, our podcast is we're running strong after all these years. Yeah, it's been great. I've drank way too much during some of these episodes of Got Faded Japan, but actually I think I'm doing that right now. Sorry, dude, you made me nervous, man. Your podcast is great. I was like, oh my goodness. Then I thought your co-host was going to be here, so I was like super nervous. I'm like, oh my god, that guy's like a genius. So I better be on my wits. All right, time to bring on the whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple other things to say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, shoot it.
How long do you want to go for?
With NFTs, I'm gonna go all the way, man. Yeah, I'm so into NFTs right now.
Okay.
Like basically what I do regarding NFTs pretty much every day I go to Reddit and I just check out like what's hot right now, you know, because Reddit every couple of days there's like a really amazing artist, you know, and I'll go through like Reddit and stuff and I'll try to find like, you know, NFTs that I like and stuff, you know, and I'll comment, you know, and I'll just, you know, just explore and enjoy that stuff. And then after Reddit, I'll go to what's it called? I'm so new to this. Discord. I'll go to Discord and I'll chit chat for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour or so. And that's always pretty interesting and stuff. There's like this NFT, it's like the NFT Discord page or whatever. And I do that for a while. And then I'll go to Rarible and I'll just check on like what's going on with Rarible and so try to find some like cool art and stuff. You know, it's kind of cool because it's kind of like a lifestyle, you know, to be involved with NFTs, you know, like for like, I would say like 2 hours every day and stuff. I'm like going through like all these pages and checking on all this artwork and talking to actual artists and collectors and stuff, you know, and then, you know, then I'll get to my own stuff. And actually right behind me, I've got my studio over there and stuff where I got all my paints and all my canvases and stuff. And then I'll sit down and I'll actually do my artwork. But the first part of my day and stuff, I'm just like, you know, just checking out this new form of artwork and stuff and this new world, you know, and this new NFT world, which is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it's a really, really interesting place to be right now in time. And I'm very excited. I'm going to take it all the way. And I think right now, like I said before, we're on the ground floor and the sky's the limit. I mean, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with NFTs in the next like year, you know, 5 years, who knows? It's going to be mind blowing. But in the next year, I think NFTs is going to be like a whole new, it's going to be a whole new universe, you know, where it's just going to be like, I mean, right now we're talking about it and younger generations, like younger kids are talking about, like kids are like teenagers and stuff are talking about, but I think like in the future, older people are going to get involved with NFTs and stuff, which is going to be really interesting because they're the ones that have all that money that can invest money into like NFTs and stuff. And I think that's going to change everything. It's going to be a complete game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, man, my mind's blowing up right now. So many things. You mentioned universe, and I was thinking about metaverse. That's like a big topic in the NFT space. You know, you put on the goggles, you go into the 3D world, look at 3D art. I want to talk about those pictures behind you. I've always been interested in that stencil. I don't know how you got that or how you make that. I want to hear about that.
Sure.
A lot of things.
I'll tell you about it.
You mentioned Discord, if I can remember.
Discord's great.
I don't like Discord. I don't like the interface. It drives me. There's like,
okay.
It's too complicated. It's like playing a video game these days. There's like 17 buttons. It's like the piano, you know, I just want like forward and back. I don't want, you know, you open up Discord and there's like all these different people and then there's like sub menus and you like it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe my Discord's different from yours. Maybe I'm like on level 1 or something, but like for me, dude, Discord is basically like you've got all these people that are in the room and they're all just talking about certain topics and stuff. And sometimes the topics are focused where everybody's talking about the same thing. And then sometimes it breaks apart into like separate conversations and multiple conversations and stuff, you know, but I kind of like it, you know, it's kind of like being in like, it's kind of like being in like a circle with like 30 friends or something, even though there's probably like 3,000. And, you know, you're kind of like having a conversation and then there's small conversations within the conversation and stuff, but it's all generally gauged towards one main subject, which is NFTs and stuff, you know? And when somebody starts talking about their NFTs and stuff, and they seem like they know exactly what they're talking about, it's kind of cool because you can click on their profile, then you can check them out on like OpenSea or on Reddit, not Reddit, but on whatchamacallit, and whatever platform that they're hosting their NFTs, and just check out the work and stuff. And it's really cool, man. It's, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it right now and stuff. And I'm really looking forward to actually talking to those people. Probably not right now because I'm kind of drunk, but like maybe tomorrow when I'm hungover, I'm like, hey guys, what's happening? But but I like it. You know, there's so much to learn, you know, and there's so many interesting people that are posting stuff, whatever. I mean, not everybody's interesting. And some people are just like, just trying to get their name out there, or they sell their NFTs, but there's some cool people out there. And that's kind of like what I like. You know, I like finding like the cool people. It's kind of like life, you know, finding somebody like you. It's like finding the cool person, be like, all right, John's a cool guy. All right, cool. Let's have a conversation, you know?
Thanks, man. Hey, how about the stencils? How do you make that? Is that someone or?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so how I make this work. Okay. Now, I don't really do this work so much these days for like in my studio, but I do this for like live painting. And okay, gosh, for your audience that has no idea who I am.
Hey, and sorry to interrupt, but I also wanted to look, you know, you have those 3 NFTs on Rarible. I want to also hear, you know, the backstory, what those images are. It's not a stencil, but I don't know if you can tie that all together.
I'm gonna try, dude. We're gonna be here all night. Okay, very quickly, in a nutshell. Okay, I'm a live painter. I paint all over Europe and in Japan and stuff. And basically nightclubs, organizers, and promoters, and all these people, they hire me to go to like their nightclub events and to paint psychedelic paintings, right? And I paint live. So I go there, I put on my uniform, which is basically my paint clothes. I got my spray paints, my paints and stuff. And I paint these huge murals, and I use black lights and fluorescent paints and stuff. And it's a whole production and stuff. And like people that go to these events and raves and nightclubs and stuff, they check out my artwork and stuff. And it's just, I'm just part of the show, and it's fantastic. And it's like the best way to paint, because the music, the vibe, the dancing, the people, that it's all energy that goes into the artwork and stuff. And that's
there's got to be pressure, right? Does the pressure kill you? Like, you know, there's limited time.
Love the pressure. Oh, bring it on. Oh,
Okay.
God, yeah. No, the first time I painted, oh, God, geez, we're going to be here all night. Okay, all right, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure, but I love it. I love that pressure, because the thing is, dude, once you get up there and you hear the music and there's so many people there, dude, you just kind of get in the zone. And once you get in the painting zone, there's no taking you out of it, you know? Especially when you're at like an event that has great music. Like if you're there and there's like, if it's like techno or drum and bass or house or sometimes even trance and stuff, you're just in there and hours just bleed by. Like, you know, I painted these clubs in Germany, and there's one called Beat Freak that starts at like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and it goes until like maybe 7 o'clock or maybe 8 o'clock the next day, and then 8 o'clock the next day in the evening, right? So It's just like, you're there and you're painting this huge mural and stuff. Sometimes I painted 2 murals. Like painting 2 murals in like within 24 hours is unheard of. But I mean, this is how it is in Berlin, right? And it's just like, you get in the zone, you just go for it, right? And yeah, it's super exciting. And how I make that stuff is like pretty much like what you see behind me. Now, you notice like behind me, I do have these stencils, right? Now, I come up with the concept first. There's nothing more important than concepts. I come up with the concept, and then after the concept, then I got to get like the images together. And the images 9 times out of 10 include a person. So I got to get a person with a certain object or a person in a certain pose. So then I got to do a photo shoot. So I got a friend that's like a professional photographer. So me and him, we get together and stuff, and we organize the shoot. We get the models, we get the objects. In this case here is an AK-47, which is very difficult to get in Tokyo, but I got one. It was an airsoft rifle. And anyway, getting all that together and stuff, we make this amazing photograph. And then from there, I make that into a stencil. And then from the stencil, I make the painting and stuff. And these right here, these are like pretty nice sized paintings. But when I do the murals in Berlin and in Paris, they're huge. They'll cover like about 4 meters by 3 meters or something. They're just massive sometimes. If you go to my website, you can see all that stuff there.
That's cool.
So that's what's behind these and stuff. Long story short, I guess you could say.
There's a bunch of other things I want to talk about, but just looking at those now, you know, and you mentioned I'm tired. Who's that artist you mentioned? Andy Warhol. You know, there's some connection between Andy Warhol and how he made like different iterations of the same sort of image, you know, different colors, Marilyn Monroe.
Exactly.
And what I'm seeing behind you there, you know, the stencil is the same, but the background is different, colors are different. And you know, in the NFT art world, you know, there's the Bored Ape, there's the Crypto Punks. It's like a 10,000 of the same thing. It kind of, you know, I see the I see the connection there. It's interesting. It's
Oh,
cool
yes,
work.
yes, yes. Andy Warhol was the master of like mass production and stuff. And he did that with pretty much similar to stencils and stuff, you know, and pretty much that's where I got that. I was influenced, that influenced my artwork. And yeah,
Look,
I
so
guess.
those three pieces on Rarible, you know, those are all three different pieces, you know, different characters.
Uh,
And
okay,
then
that painting.
do you see yourself doing like different color iterations of the same? Right now you've got like three,
Hmm.
10 of 10 of 10,
Hmm.
and those three are three different faces. But in the future, do you see yourself doing like multiple iterations, different colors, kind of like what some of the other NFT artists are doing?
Oh, I could totally do something like that. Actually, those are real people. Those right there, that's like a different style of artwork that I do. I do a couple of different art styles of artwork, and that stuff is called pop sick art, which is like sick of the popular. Because like right now, like a lot of people are doing like kind of like a weird portraits, you
Mhm.
know, which are either way too realistic or not realistic at all, like very abstract. You know, there's no like middle, right? So basically, I called these pop sick, which is basically kind of like in the middle of those, but completely different, if that makes any sense. And the whole foundation of pop sick portraits is that all right, I used to be a graffiti artist when I was in college, and I love graffiti and I love comic books, love manga, love Marvel, love DC, love all that stuff. And I also love like old school photography, like George Horrell stuff, like the old original Hollywood glamour photography. Love that stuff. So basically, Popsick is where I take those three elements and I put them together and I make actual portraits of people. So if you look at like the NFTs, those are actual people, and those are actual like kind of like people designed in a way that's like old school photography plus graffiti colors and elements, and it has like the hard outline with like a marker and stuff, just like how comics are designed. So that's like my concept for that, and that's kind of like what I'm doing right now, and that artwork right there is just taking off. My last like 4 or 5 shows, I've been only doing like popsic artwork, and not completely selling out, but almost every show I've sold out. Like I've had like, wait, does that make sense? That's the whiskey talking. But I've sold, like if I have like, for example, the International Art Fair, I had 5 paintings and 3 sold. And then I got 2 commissions out of that. And then the show before that was a completely sold out show. And then the show before that, no, that also was a completely sold out show. Yeah. So this popsic artwork that I'm doing right now is it's really taking off. And I think it's taking off just because it's just so unusual and so, I guess, just so new and different. Like it's completely different than what anybody's ever seen before. And that's like a lot of like the feedback that I get. And that's actually why I made them into NFTs, because it's just like this right here is like this new format of artwork that I've kind of invented. And I just want to get it out there. And I also want to like basically, you know, get it out there and then kind of like, you know, just like expose it to the world, where like maybe other people start working in like maybe popsic art, you know, maybe they make popsic art houses or popsic art pets or something, which actually recently I got commissioned to do. I got to do a popsic style painting of a dog, which I've never done before, you know, so I have no idea how to do this. It's going to be a fucking, oh, sorry, F word. It's going to be a new experience for me, but yeah, it should be kind of cool. So anyway, that's my popsic art.
That's cool, man.
Mm,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just thinking when you were talking there, you could, you know, take let's talk about the dog one. So, you know, you get that done. And then you said
yeah.
like the outline. I didn't put it together before, but you said it's kind of the manga comic book style, you know, that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
bold
with like the
outline.
hard black outlines and stuff, of like, you know, like people's eyes and their,
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah.
characters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then once you get that, you know, you could get it into Adobe Photoshop or whatever, and you could like mess with the colors to make like the green dog, the blue dog, the purple dog, like, and you know, instead of doing 10 of the same, you could do one of ones, different colors, and I think,
Mhm.
yeah, there'd be a lot of potential for NFTs there. Be cool.
Oh yeah, that's very Warhol. I mean, that is like super Warhol. They like completely change the colors and make them
Yeah,
all like either like very neon or pastel and stuff. I think that could
yeah.
be really, really exciting. Even make GIFs out of them. Is it GIF or GIF? I never really knew.
I'd go with GIF.
GIF, yeah, make
GIF.
GIFs out of them, where like basically the colors change and stuff. I mean, that's what like the, you know, the gorillas and all these other guys are doing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Get into that, man. That's where the money's at. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more, all right, that's where the money's at. And that's cool to get like, money from like your artwork and stuff. But it's also really important just to like, expose the world and influence the world. I really think it's important to influence the world with like your artwork and stuff, because money will come eventually. I mean, if you do something beautiful, if you do something great, money eventually is going to come. I mean, when Kurt Cobain got on stage for the first time and he played like his first song, he didn't think he was going to become like one of the biggest, like, guitar players and like musical legends in the world, And the same thing with your podcast right now, you're starting off and stuff, but probably in like the next like year, maybe 2 years, you're going to be like a podcast god, So it's just like, you just do what you love and then the money comes to you and stuff. And that's kind of like how I think about it, So I'm not really worried about the money regarding NFTs at this point. I just want to kind of like, create what I love to do and just get it out to the world and stuff. And if somebody likes my work and they basically buy it and stuff and they can use it to like make themselves happy, or it inspires them to like maybe make art themselves, or it's just like, brightens their day or something, fucking mission accomplished. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I love art.
Yeah, that's the whiskey talking.
That's the whiskey talking. Yeah, that's the whiskey mouth.
Hey, so let's talk. I don't know. I don't want to go too much longer. I got to teach 11 lessons tomorrow. But back in the day,
like another 15 minutes.
Okay. So I remember, we're sitting before some lessons. I don't know where we were, Chula Line, something like that, at a coffee shop, and you're talking about masks. Yeah, you had the mask idea. We've talked about this before, selling different images on the art masks.
Oh, when we're working at Asia University. Yes, way back then. Oh yeah, I came up with the idea.
So I'm still in that world, and you aren't. Now you, like you said, you do what you love, and you're confident that good things will happen if you do what you love. And I think that's great. I totally agree, but I'm not there yet. So I just want to hear a little bit about that transition. Like how did you go from, the 9 to 5, being a slave, to creating your own business? Was that a long process, or what happened there?
No,
it's
man.
not easy, right?
No. All right. Okay. So yeah. All right. Well, first off, the mask thing. All right. Let's talk about the mask thing for a second.
Don't grind me about the mask, Ron.
All right.
Yeah. I'm sorry I said no, but yeah, back in the day.
We lost millions. Okay. All right. Well, let's not talk about the mask thing. Oh, the mask thing. But okay. So, all right. Let's see. All right. Yeah. All right. On my podcast, I call it the sushi plant. I was working at the sushi plant, and every day I was going in there just making sushi and just doing my job. Right. Yeah. And it got to the point where I just like stopped and I looked around at all the people that were working in my company as long as I have, and nobody was happy. Nobody liked to be there. Nobody wanted to be there. And nobody cared about being there. And all the bosses above us just hated us, right? Yeah. And they would talk smack about us. And then we'd have like meetings and stuff where they talk smack about other like people in the company and stuff. And I was just like, this is just not a cool place to be at. I mean, when I first started, it was. When you and I were working together back in the day, it was kind of a cool place, because that place in a way was kind of punk rock back then. It was kind of like DIY to a degree. But then it just got too corporate, and it wasn't like an overnight process. Like slowly, it became more and more corporate, to the point where it's just like all of a sudden I realized, like, I was just like, oh my God, I feel like Tom Hanks in that movie, Joe escapes the volcano, whatever, Joe versus the volcano. And I was just like, oh man, how did this come to be? And I was like, shit, I can't live my life like this anymore, And I was doing artwork. I was actually painting live and doing artwork in like my free time back then. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to start like consulting and stuff. And I'm going to take that and just make that like my main job, And I'm just going to see what happens. I'm just going to just take the ball and run and stuff, And my wife and everybody around me just told me I was a complete idiot. They're like, dude, what are you doing? You can't do that. You can't leave your company. Nobody leaves their company. This is Tokyo. If you leave your company, bad things are going to happen. You're going to lose all your benefits. You're going to lose this and that and stuff. How many days do you have a paid vacation? I'm like, 30. They're like, you're going to lose that. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I just don't want to do this anymore. Right. So then I just stopped, and I'm going to be honest, man, it was not easy. The first couple of months were like super scary. Like I wasn't making any ends meet, And then after a while, just like, just working hard and trying to make connections and doing this and that and stuff, things actually started working in my favor. And yeah, everything was great until the Corona hit. And then it was back at square one. But then, now things again are like actually doing pretty good and stuff, I mean, regarding my artwork, I'm not touring. Like before, I was going to Europe maybe twice a year, and I was showing work, having shows, and painting at nightclubs and stuff, which is absolutely fantastic. In fact, actually, about a week before like the corona's hit and they closed all the airports, I was supposed to go to Berlin. And yeah, I had to bite the bullet on a couple of those tickets, which really sucked. But yeah. But things are opening up now, and I think the world is getting a little bit better. I guess I think the coronas it's still here. It's going to be here for a while, but I think things are going to kind of like cool on a little bit and stuff, and hopefully things get back to normal. Fingers crossed. And yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
rainbows for everybody.
Yeah, we'll see. I found it, I don't want to get too political, but with the elections in Japan recently, it was kind of convenient that things died down here. But now that the election's over, I'm kind of curious what's going to happen around Christmas time. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Hey man, you know what? At this point, I just go with the flow, man. I just like do my job at home and stuff. I'm painting every day, get my hands dirty and stuff, coming up with concepts and stuff, researching NFTs. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. So what about you? What about your podcast and NFTs? You guys could do the same thing that, we could do with our podcast and stuff. You guys could have like segments of like conversations with like really famous people who are making amazing like NFTs and stuff, and making that into an NFT or something, or maybe interviewing Quentin Tarantino right now is making NFTs. Maybe getting Quentin Tarantino on your show. It's possible. I've had a lot of famous people on my podcast. People love to talk on podcasts. It only takes like an hour. They can just do it at their home with Zoom and stuff,
Yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't tried pursuing many of the guests. Usually Henry does that. I don't know how he does it, but he's been
He does
able
a
to get some
great
good
job.
guests. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are very fortunate. I'm just like, wow. In every interview that you guys have had has been very educational. Like I've always learned like so much stuff from like listening to your podcast. I'm like, wow, okay, that's cool. Gold everywhere. I'm taking notes while I'm listening. It's great.
Man. It's good to hear.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. It's very entertaining and stuff.
Cool, man. Okay, I guess we'll wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or anything you want to say?
No, I guess that's it. I had a wonderful time being here. I get to do all right. As you guys probably don't know, me and John, we're old buddies. We've been friends for a very long time, and we haven't had drinks together in a very long time. So I took this as an opportunity to have a drink with him, although I think I'm the only one drinking. But yeah, and also I was a little nervous. Oh, you do have a little whiskey. All right, kampai. All right, let me get a little more in my cup. We're going to do a kampai together because this is Japan. Ooh, yeah. Kampai, John. It's been a pleasure podcasting with you. Cheers.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic. Wow, what a glorious Saturday. All right. Well, I do have a plug for all your fans out there. My name is Johnny, but I go by the artist name The Spilt Ink, which is TheSpiltInk. And I got my name, The Spilt Ink, because when I did graffiti, I was terrible at it. And I'd have my can too close to the wall where all my paints would just drip. And then when I came to Japan, I got involved with painting with the fude brush and doing like calligraphy, and all my paint there would just drip. And when I made any kind of like kanji or any kind of images, everything dripped. So I became The Spilt Ink. Oh. So check me out. If you just Google me, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Rarible, I'm on YouTube, I'm all over the place and stuff. And if you check out my work and stuff, thank you very much. I hope my artwork gives you a smile and brightens your day and inspires you to do something wonderful. So that's why I'm in the art world, and I hope you're in the art world with me in the future.
Yeah. All right.
John, thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. I think we'll wrap it up there. Yeah, it's good. I wondered about your name. It's good to finally figure out what it is. I was gonna, maybe we'll stop recording now. But when you're doing those murals in Berlin or wherever, you're making those 3x4 meter murals, how many spray cans do you go through?